Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in today's series. I see that we have a few people joining us. So if you're just joining us now, and if you're watching this online on social media, thank you so much for being here with us today. So just to kind of give you a quick introduction and a presentation of what we're doing here today, this is going to be the official first part of a three-part series, an AI series that we're going to be doing here at the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. If you don't already know me, my name is Chris. I'm a board member and the marketing chair for the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And today I have the honor to be here with a very important figure in the space, Frank Mulcahy, who's going to be covering a few topics around AI and how you can leverage AI to maximize the way that you do business. He also has a special gift for you all. So I encourage you all to stay to the end of the presentation where we'll be doing a Q&A, and he'll be providing us with a surprise towards the end. So I'll go ahead and give the opportunity for Frank to introduce himself, and I'll be here with you if you have any more questions towards the end.
So appreciate it, Chris. Do I have the screen share, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So let me make sure we've got this, and then we'll get right in. Let's go back to the beginning. And if you just can confirm that we've got the screen share up there.
Yes, sir. I can see.
Well, great. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Mulcahy. I'm down in Sugar Land, Texas, and I had the wonderful opportunity to be introduced to the folks at the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And in the meeting we had, it was about how I work with almost 335 chambers across the United States and now globally. Because as an international speaker, myself and my partner, Ernesto Verdugo, who couldn't be here today because he's at another event, we realized when the COVID lockdown came that we had to switch from live events to virtual events. And so we started to do that, and we put together an incredible program, which I'll share with you at the very end. But you can now have access, thanks to the good folks at the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber. You can now have access to over 300 video lesson plans to help you to grow and help you to protect your business. And the items that are within this learning management system that we have, and by the way, I'll tell you right up front, it costs $1 one-time lifetime, so there's really no investment for you to get into it because it's being brought to you by the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, just like all my other chambers around the world. But it's going to be a great, great, great opportunity for you to have not only lessons about artificial intelligence, but about many other things that are critical in business going forward. So I'd like to start by saying that, again, this is the latest big bang disruption and how it will affect your business. And that's the open AI, that's the artificial intelligence. So everybody says, well, who are you? Who is Ernesto? And that's a great question, because there's so many voices out there in these busy, crowded places that we just tell people, if you want to know who we are, just Google us. You can go in and you can put Frank Mulcahy, workplace bullying, Frank Mulcahy, identity theft, Frank Mulcahy, artificial intelligence, Frank Mulcahy, speaker, trainer, and I'm going to pop up everywhere on social media. And Ernesto, the same thing. He's the 247th most traveled person in the world. And together, we travel around the world and do speaking events. We had the opportunity in 2022 to be listed as two of Houston's most highly respected, influential business professionals in the Houstonian Review magazine, which is the entity out there keeping pulse of who's the progressive business people within the community of Houston. So we're very, very proud of that. And you can go in and you can look at it. And basically, what I'm known as is a thought leader, a trend hunter, a behavioral expert, and primarily an international cybersecurity advocate, but also a businessman, because I always bring solutions. Again, I've been in business for over 50 years, and I've seen everything from doing business before we even had calculators. I remember when I was in the military, I was in fire direction and support, and I had to aim the cannons, had to aim the artillery, and had to do all the calculations with a slide ruler. So now all of a sudden we have the technology that comes along with the computers, then we come in with the internet, now we're coming in with artificial intelligence and all these laser guided this, laser guided that, autonomous. So I get more excited than most people because I came from an era where we had to do things with nothing. Now, all of a sudden, I see people that have this vast amount of information available to them, and they're still wondering, what do I do next? And so what we've done is we've actually taken our expertise and our staff, and we put together some incredible stuff for you. We're also the authors of the AI Whispers Method, Ernesto and myself. And, you know, and a lot of people say, well, okay, so you're authors about artificial intelligence. We are, because we're pioneers, we're early adopters. And everybody says, well, why did you write the book? What was it that you wrote the book about artificial intelligence? And what was our objective? Well, our objective was to bring the information to my business clients that I've been serving for the last 50 years, because I'm known, again, as a trendsetter, a change advocate. You know, I can actually come in and give relevant, timely information that you can implement immediately after the sessions. And so what we did was we put it in the book. Now, I'd like to ask you guys a real question, and Chris, you could see by the show of hands. So if you can run the chat, because we want to answer the questions as people going on with the chats. But how many of you have wanted to write a book, thought you should write a book? But this book that we wrote, the AI Whispers Method, which again is going to give you the ability to, it's a proven system achieving success by using ChatGPT. And some people are going to look at it and they're not going to use it. And then you'll see some slides a little bit later. And then others are going to say, yes, I need to do it. Yes, this is an innovation. This is a Gutenberg press defining moment. And when you do that, so let me ask you, the book is 420 pages, 65,000 words. How long would that normally take somebody to write that kind of a book? You know, would it take 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 9 months? Sometimes it takes people 3, 4, 5 years as I talk to people. The amazing thing is that Ernesto and I wrote this book from the time we thought about it in January to the time that you could purchase it on Amazon was 15 days. 15 days. And we did it with the help of artificial intelligence. There's no plagiarism in this book. There's no copying other people's ideas. This is all original content. It's all original information. We just use the ChatGPT to help assist us in writing. So that's one of the biggest myths I like to get out of the way real early. Is a lot of people think, well, ChatGPT is going to write something for me. No, it's not. It's going to write it with you. It's going to, as you guys start using it, you guys and gals, you're going to start realizing that your creative is going to come awake again. Your initiative, your excitement, your zest for your business, because too many times it's been squandered by senior management. It's been squandered by changes in the marketplace. If you embrace artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, and it's moving at light speed, you're going to see some statistics in a little bit here. You're going to be able to write your own book again. And as Chris said, please stay to the end, because I have a very, very special gift that I'm going to offer to you, which can show you how to write your book within the next 30 days. How you can have all of the content, all of the prompts, all of the systems, everything right in there. So stay to the end and I'll share it with you, because you could revolutionize your business if you jump in and if you start, because people are eventually going to adapt. And there's no time to delay. Things are moving at incredible speed. I want you to listen to my good friend, Alex. Alex says it so succinctly that I want you to just take a minute and look at the ways that you can use ChatGPT.
On November 30th of 2022, the world changed forever. Artificial intelligence, or AI, became accessible to the public for free through a tool called ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
A robot you can talk to.
That you can log on to and have a conversation with.
And it went from 0 to 1 million users in 5 days, which is the fastest any platform has gotten to 1 million users. It took Facebook 2 years, it took Instagram 2 years, it took Pinterest 4 months, and it took Angry Birds 35 days. I think that it has the potential to unravel the very fabric of capitalism itself and what it means for us as individuals. AI is a type of technology that helps machines or computers do things that normally need a human brain to do. Stuff like learning, solving problems, making decisions, and understanding what we see or hear. The thing that made the release on November 30th so wild is that ChatGPT democratized access to AI for the first time because it had an interface that we could all use, chat. They created a massive language model that allowed it to understand our prompts and queries and be able to translate that into machine speak, get the answer, and then retranslate it back to us in human speak. That is what made it so powerful, because now all of us can use it. Right now, ChatGPT spits out words, sentences, paragraphs, articles, and even entire books. It can write legal documents, it can write sales scripts, it can write video scripts. The list is literally endless. If we had 1,000 times the rate of innovation, it would be the same as having all innovations between the period of enlightenment and today happen next year. So if you were to have asked people, what jobs do you think AI will replace first? Most people said first it'll replace the low-skilled jobs, the physical labor, and then it'll be the low-skilled white-collar jobs, and then it'll be the high-skilled white-collar jobs like programmers and coders, and then finally maybe it'll replace the creative jobs. But what's interesting is that it actually happened in the reverse order. If you're a copywriter, this has serious implications for you. A logo designer, this has serious implications for you. Customer service, 24 hours a day, in real time, immediate feedback. What happens to all the physicians? It becomes immediate and more accurate for us to have access to a medical AI from our homes. And it can see us because it can interpret data visually too. If you're in finance, it will be able to take all of the raw data and realign it and put it into beautiful Excel sheets. A friend of mine has a father who's a medical malpractice attorney. He asked it to write an argument for why malpractice should not be capped in terms of how much a lawyer can make on a malpractice suit. And then it outlined an entire argument for why it should be uncapped. It happened to be almost identical to the argument that he had after 40 years of experience. I do think that there's a chance that capitalism as a system for society may be overturned. You're gonna have a huge cost basis that's gonna be eliminated. So things may get cheaper. But at the same time, the money that would have gone to those people that's gonna go into the economy won't be there. The point is that I think there will be significant changes to capitalism overall. Now, one of the nice things, Sam Altman, who's the CEO, they have actually been undergoing the largest UBI study, so Universal Basic Income study, as a result concurrently with this technology. So he knows what they're making.
We're going to have an opportunity to push the reset button and think about the world we want. And I think Universal Basic Income is one part of that.
He knows the impact of what's going to have. Now, in the short term, we'll be able to harness this. And this is what I think will foster in, at least in the short term, a golden age for humanity in terms of what we're going to be able to accomplish scientifically. I believe that we will be able to achieve nuclear fusion. Fusion is renewable, clean energy for everyone. When you reconstruct the energy infrastructure upon which all of society is laid upon, it changes everything. And so in a very real way, this will be a more significant change or revolution in humanity, in my opinion, than the Industrial Revolution, which changed everything.
So,
on November 30th,
what I want to point out is that disruption is here. Disruption is going to change everything. But if you can adapt and you can implement the ChatGPT, the OpenAI, and all the other ones from Bard to Anthropic, all of the ones that are coming, you're going to be able to stay ahead of it. You're going to be able to get ahead of what could eventually be a disruption to the capitalism that we see today. Because as they say, if we disrupt the oil and the gas and the electric, and we now all of a sudden have fusion energy 10, 15, 20 years from now, the question is, how are we as entrepreneurs, how are we as business owners, how are we as employees going to adapt with what the change is coming? I read a book about 6 years ago called The Big Bang Disruption by Larry Downs. It's kind of interesting because every now and then something comes along that changes things. And many of you remember that we used to have maps in the door and in the glove box of our car. And then as business owners, if we were in Dallas or we were in Houston, we had the key map. And I remember every year I waited for the new key map, and it listed all the new subdivisions and all the new streets and all the new county roads. And it was how we got around. But then all of a sudden MapQuest came out. And when MapQuest came out, we're sitting there and we're typing it in on our computer and we're printing it out and we're going from here to here. And we could even go in there. We could call AAA and AAA could say, where you want to go on vacation. And they send us a map and tell us how to go from Houston, Texas to Boston, Massachusetts, and it would give me all the routes and the detours. But then all of a sudden, We come in with Garmin. We come in with Gemini. I remember when I bought my first one, it was a Garmin. Some people bought the TomTom, but they were $400, $500, $600, $700, depending on what options you wanted with it. And not very long after that, like 18 months after that, it started to get implemented right into our smartphones. Now, today, nobody reads the maps. Nobody buys the key map. Nobody gets the TomTom. The app is in our phone real time, telling us all the options, all the better routes, how much money it's going to save, going this way, that way, avoid the toll roads. And that is what we call disruption. Now I want you to take what just happened with this one app here and imagine what happens with everything that we're connected to online. You see, the shape of Big Bang disruption, it's just a vertical. It just goes straight up. It doesn't go like the traditional technology adoptive curve, where it takes 6, 7, 8 years to get through the early adoption, then it starts to have a rise. With OpenAI, this Big Bang disruption has happened so fast. Here's a timeline. To go to 1 million users, Netflix took 3.5 years. Airbnb, 2.5 years. Facebook took 10 months. Dropbox took 7 months. But yet ChatGPT took 5 days to go to 1 million users. But look at the usage they had. In November of 2022, they had 152,000 people that did a search on ChatGPT. But in February, 3 months later, it was over 1 billion visitors. So again, it's coming so fast. So where are we right now? In November 30th of 2022, we had the release of ChatGPT 3.5, and they anticipated it would be a year before 4.0 would come, which is just a more robust, more entailed, and it gives you greater responses. And that came out in February, was the release of ChatGPT 4. And then in April, we had the release of AutoGPT, which we're going to get in and show you a little bit of that, because it actually has sparks of the autonomous. It has sparks of being out there. You had the artificial narrow intelligence, you had the artificial intelligence, and then you had the super intelligence. And so where we're getting now, we're going to get into the baby AGI, the autonomous AGI, where the computers are starting to think for themselves as well as what we're thinking, and it's bringing everything together. So again, with the AI effect, it's going to affect everything, in my opinion, in Alex's opinion, in Nestor's opinion, and all the people that we're working with around the world. And it's almost like the butterfly effect. It's a phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a very complex system can have large effects elsewhere. And it's often, sometimes they use the example. I remember when I first heard about it 30, 40 years ago, they said that a butterfly in Africa flapping its wings could start the air movement and eventually end up being a storm. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that what happened when they came out with Google and they come out with Netscape, the first real browser, that all of a sudden it just blew the internet wide open. It blew the creative, where we could have websites and we could send blueprints instead of physically sending it through Federal Express and through the printer and all that. We could actually send it electronically. We had that magnified. Now with the ChatGPT, it's just bigger. So AI, here's how I hope everybody looks at it and everybody becomes an early adopter, because AI is the opportunity that you've been waiting for, but you must make the move. You must become a first mover advantage. And I think, and Ernesto, we talk about this all the time, I think you have 3 months tops from today to become an adapter. It's somebody that's implementing. Don't become the passive curiosity, looking at it, waiting to see what happens, because the longer you wait, the further you'd fall behind. So this is what I mean when I mentioned 3 months. And so we have pioneers, which are the people that are going to be, okay, I'm exploring it, I'm going out there, the experimenters in the orange. You get the passive. And in the first phase, passive is about 50% of the people. But as time goes on, that passive actually becomes larger. You know, we're in the second wave right now, perceiving, learning, abstracting, reasoning. But then the people are going to be in the third wave, which is probably going to be in like September, October, November. You're going to have people at a whole new level. So right now, where about 50% of the people were passive, and that was last month, the month before. Now it's quickly becoming almost 70-75% of the people are passive. They're falling further behind. They don't realize how fast this thing is growing. And this is where we're going to be in 6 months from now. So you're going to have the pioneers, you're going to have the experimenters, you're going to have the people that are investigating, but the passives are going to say, well, yeah, it was cute. I wrote a song with it. I wrote a poem with it. Great. But did you solve a problem with it? Did you use it to advance your business? Did you use it to change your careers? Did you use it to enhance what you had? Because right now, this chart is the opposite of what most people normally see. Normally, they say that over time, the opportunity increases. But right now, the opportunity is huge for everybody. But as time goes on, the opportunity for everybody is going to decrease. But the people that get in early, the people that become the adapters and the adopters, the change makers, they're going to have the opportunity now and in the future as time goes on, because your business is going to be powered. Your business is going to be super powered with it. And so just like Alex said, and this is just a quick recap, examples of AI solutions in the market: customer support, marketing, healthcare, finance. The consequences of falling behind, a decreased efficiency, because without AI's ability to process and analyze data, businesses may struggle to keep up with the pace of change and the inefficiencies in their operations. The loss of a competitive advantage. You see, somebody's always fearful. I hear all these people, well, it's going to be the end of civilization. It's not going to be the end of civilization. Well, then I had a large city. I do employee benefits, so I'm always dealing with HR directors. And I went to this one HR director and I talked to him about the artificial intelligence. I told him I wrote a new sexual harassment, workplace bullying program in about 15 minutes. He said, that's impossible. You can't do it in 15 minutes. I said, I did. Watch, I'll show you how to do it. And he said, what is it? I said, artificial intelligence. He said, well, I know all about that. I said, what do you know? He said, I know it's going to replace people's jobs. I said, sir, it's not going to replace people's jobs. It's going to make people more efficient. And you, as an HR director, are responsible for almost 900 employees. And your goal is to maximize performance, maximize efficiency, create the avenues that they can do their jobs. And artificial intelligence can increase the efficiency. I'll show you a video in a few minutes, folks, but it can increase the efficiency of any organization. I don't care whether it's from healthcare to insurance to automotive to building homes by 15 to 20% without increasing cost. So you're going to have loss of competitive edge, limited opportunities, and reduced innovation. So I ask everybody, become an adopter. Get in there now. Your journey to move from passive to experimenter to investigator to pioneer. Become the pioneer 6 months from now, a year from now. And again, I'm going to show you a special gift at the end that I'm going to help you to become part of a community of people that can help you. This was an interesting article, and I listened to the video that goes with it. Mark Cuban was saying that the world's first trillionaire will be an artificial intelligence entrepreneur, because this is shaking the entire world. Now, here we are, and this slide was in April, but here we are in July, and Auto GPT is upon us now. We didn't think this would come for 2 years. See, Auto stands for autonomous AI. And we already know we have the self-driving cars, we have self-driving trucks, we have all of these systems. So let me take you on a little trip down memory lane that Ernesto and I went through. And it goes along with what Elon Musk said. He said, you get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. And humans are limited by the rate at which they can think, and that determines the rate at which they can solve problems. And that's the problem, is that people aren't solving the problems they think about, and therefore they're not earning the income that they can eventually earn. And one of the things with the ChatGPT is you can stop researching and start using the AI, because when you do, you have the ultimate force multiplier with you. You have the technology, you now have the processes, and you are the people, and you can make it all work in a huge way. It's almost like if we go back to the beginning of time, we had the stone wheel, and then all of a sudden it was improved into the wooden wheel. Then it was improved into the Michelin tire and the different rims. And then we had the Gutenberg press back in the 15th, 16th century. Literally, it changed humanity. It changed civilization. They were able to take the printed word, instead of being on a stone tablet, they were able to print it and disseminate. So people were having better healthcare. They were having build better cities, build better walls, have better defense, have better food, have better commerce. They were able to take the printed written word of the pioneers at that time and disseminate it. But then we went on and we come out with before the combustible engine, we come out with the Model T, and Henry Ford opened up the avenues in America, opened up the avenues that we could move commerce, we could move people, we could move business from the city out there. We didn't need the horse and the buggy. We had the automobile, and then we had the pickup truck, then we had the bigger trucks, then we had the airlines. And with every innovative technology, we were able to advance civilization. With the light bulb, now all of a sudden we had the ability to light the power, so we could extend the work days, extend the safety. And so again, we're at that point. In the early years and the inflection point, we are now on that hockey stick type growth. It's just going to go like a skyrocket. The key is don't get left behind. Don't waste a single minute lamenting on it, because change is inevitable. One of my greatest mentors, he was the guy that created Herbalife Corporation. He told me, he said, concepts remain constant, Frank. Techniques change. Techniques change. And everything we do in our life, it always gets better. It always gets stronger. How we manufacture things, how we produce things, how we dig it out of the ground, how we send it to the marketplace, it's all inevitable. I was reading this morning, I was telling somebody just yesterday that there's a new subdivision in Georgetown, Texas, where they're building 3D printed houses in a whole subdivision. And then today I'm seeing that the largest farm ever built is almost completed using a 3D printer. So change is inevitable. All of the things are coming. And remember, this is the very beginning. And this is very aggressive, fast moving, and quickly. There's two advantages. You'll be ahead of other people by mastering the tools now. And if you master the tools, the people are going to turn to you, because you're able to solve problems more efficiently and effectively. I wish we were in a room and I could have you raise your hand and I could see how many people are actually using this. But I'll give you the example. When I was speaking at the Texas Municipal League HR Association a couple of weeks ago, I had about 98 people in the room, and I asked how many are actually using, because I was giving books away, I said, how many people are actually using the artificial intelligence? And folks, it shocked me. There was maybe like 7 or 8 people kind of raised their hand halfway. They didn't raise it up there like they were excited about what they were doing. They raised it about halfway. And I'm like, oh my word, these people just don't have a clue. And they're HR. They're the people that are responsible for maybe they only have 50, 80, 100 people. Some of them had 2,000, 3,000 people. The city of Houston I work with, I'm doing artificial intelligence training with them now. We had a big meeting on Wednesday of this week. They're now adopting it, but they have 25,000 people. Imagine if we just took 20% of their workforce, 5,000 people, and we were able to shave 2 hours a day in increased efficiency instead of the mundane repeated task. Imagine if we could increase 20,000 hours a day in increased proficiency for an entity like the city of Houston. So again, we need to do it on scale to the size of our companies, but this is where we're looking at. AI gives you the almost unimaginable amount of efficiency in certain tasks, and it's absolutely insane on things you can do. If you've seen it in action, it's breathtaking, and we'll talk about it. Back to the future. You know, a lot of people say, well, where are we going with this? Well, the birth of AGT autopilot is here. And it used to be when we first come out back in January and February, we were talking about ChatGPT and the prompt formula about context and text and instruction. And this is exactly what the book covers, folks. It teaches you how to talk to the robots. It teaches you the commands and the structure and the super commands, and it gives you the ability to say, I can do this. And the more you get in, you're going to stimulate the persona. So in other words, you're going to say, act as if you're my world-class CPA, act as if you're my neurosurgeon, act as if you're my business coach, act as if you're my world-class ghost writer in assisting me to write this book. And then all of a sudden you got the task, the steps to complete the task, the context, the constraints, the goal, the format. And imagine if you had the mega prompts, you knew exactly how to structure that prompt. You knew how to structure that sentence. See, when Ernesto and I went in and we wrote the book, we wrote it in 15 days, 65,000 words. And we had to learn the prompts. We had to use our imagination. But with every one we did, we went deeper and we went deeper, and it became clearer. And we know that the more concise we are with what we ask for, the more incredible the end result is that we get back. So I like to tell people, and again, I was reading another article earlier today, and a true prompt engineer, that's a new position, folks, prompt engineer. In other words, somebody that works with the corporation that can teach everybody else at the corporation how to interact with the artificial intelligence, how to get the messaging across so they get everything they want back. Those are the people that are now earning as much as $300,000 a year because they know how to talk to the robots. So again, some people are going to say, hey, I might want to become a prompt engineer, not only for myself, but for other people. And that's what's happened to Ernesto and I. So automatically, you've got that huge advantage. Folks, this is where we were in November 30th of 2022. We were all at the starting line. We were all equal. We all had this road to run. But then all of a sudden, here's where we are today. Now, you could be running with the greatest outfit, the greatest sneakers, and you're in really good shape. But if I'm on the mountain bike, I'm going to beat you. And that's where we are today. So people that are using the AGI right now, people that are using OpenAI, ChatGPT, using Bard, I don't care which one you're using, you're going to have the advantage. 3 months from now, it's not going to be fair at all. I don't care how fit you are, how athletic you are, how much you've trained, how many degrees you have. If you're not using ChatGPT and all of the things that come with it, you're going to lose the race. It's just inevitable. This is where we will be 3 months from now. And so Ernesto and I, we actually created a community, and this is where you belong. You belong in a community of other people that know how to get you where you want to get. We partnered with my good friend Daniel Priestley, who's over in London. Daniel is world known. He's known as the founder of the Key Person of Influence series and trainings, 4 New York Times bestsellers. And when he saw what we were doing with the ChatGPT and what we did with the book, he actually got together with us and wrote the foreword in the book. And I'd love to have you all get the book and read about Daniel, and because he's going to be in some of the lessons. He's going to be in the other offer I'm going to give you at the end, which, by the way, there's no cost for it. But this is who you can learn from. So one of the things you should do is you belong in that empty spot right there. And I'm going to show you at the end when you stay how you can get in there. So are you familiar with the Star Wars trilogy, right? You had the Star Wars, you had the Empire Strikes Back, and then we had, of course, the Return of the Jedi. And we're all familiar with that. Well, we also had Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3. And it was that series, it was that trilogy. Ernesto and I, we're storytellers. We're the trilogy. We actually wrote the AI Whispers method. And again, it took us 15 days, the two of us doing it, but it was 65,000 words, but we didn't really know what we were doing. Now, all of a sudden, the second version is already out about machine learning, magic, AI powered, how to train ChatGPT to be the best employee you never paid for. Now, imagine how that's the second version, and the third version is coming out as well. But what it means is with the machine learning and the auto GPT, you can be 10 times more productivity. And in a matter of fact, the second book was written 35,000 words. The first one was 65,000 words, 289 pages versus 420, 100% original content written in 7 days from idea to publication. So imagine, what if you could write your next project? What if you could take your business to that next level without the expenses that typically happen in most commerce and things? Imagine if you could do that, and we could put you in a community, and we'll put you in there for a period of time as our guest and help you to do that. You literally could change your life between now and September 1st. And we can get you in there. So Auto GPT is here. It used to be that all of this corpus of information that ChatGPT runs on, everybody says, where do they get this information? It's been published, it's been out there, and they trained the large language model on that. But back in January, if you asked who won the 2022 World Series, and then Esco actually went in and asked this because he's a huge Houston Astros fan, and it said, I'm sorry, I can tell you who the winners of the 2021 is. It was the Atlanta Braves. But then about 2 months later, all of a sudden, ChatGPT with internet access now became available. It's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit, but pretty soon everybody will have it. You got to know just a little bit of programming to get it where you can have it current, up to date. But then he went in and asked, the Houston Astros won the 2022, which is the championship series of Major League Baseball. So again, there's certain things that you need to do, because now we're getting to the next stage. Now we're getting to the point that ChatGPT can now access the internet live. So as you're doing your research, you're doing your analytics, you're doing your job searches, you're rewriting your resume, rewriting everything that you had, you're going to be able to input stuff. You're going to be able to get it live off the internet, not pre-November 2021, but current. And you're going to be able to have the most incredible, because we now have plugins that you can actually get plugins that can help you with the education, help you with the marketing, help you with the writing, help you create the images, help you to do the coding. You know, remember what Alex said at the beginning in that video? He said that at first we thought that it was going to be the mundane individual that was going to be replaced first, but no. One of the people that are in great jeopardy of losing their careers are coders. And the reason is most code has already been written, and people that don't have any coding experience can now go into ChatGPT and get that code written for them at a reduced cost. So it's crazy. And then, of course, we have Baby AGI. You can go in. I don't have time to go into this in great detail, but Baby AGI just simply means that it's now going to be autonomous. It's now going to be the machine learning. It's going to be that we're actually teaching the machines in a supervised, unsupervised learning and a reinforcement learning system, because it's not, we don't want the AGI to do something. You have to go in and correct it. You have to go in and say, that is not what I asked for. You have to be able to do that. And we do that during our masterminds that we do in our community. We share that. So how to understand AI, it's very simple. It's through training, whether we're training a dog, a cat, a chicken, whatever. It's supervised learning algorithms. And when you have the unknown and you can make predictions, and then all of a sudden the AI is saying, is this a dog? Is this a cat? Is this a chicken? Is this an apple? Is this an apple, or is it an owl? Is this a blueberry muffin, or is this a little chihuahua? So this is where deep learning comes in. And we have to get rid of the biases. But yet the ChatGPT is getting to that point that you're going to be able to put in an image and it'll discern, and it'll be exactly what you're looking for in record time, that you're going to be able to expand your business. So it's gone from a learning that now we can put in text, we can create movies, we can create scripts, we can create screenplays, we can write. I wrote a TED Talk with this. I wrote my mom's eulogy for her funeral. I didn't know what to say. I was all distraught. I just, I was up against difficult situations, but I sat and I put my thought in there, and all of a sudden I asked the ChatGPT to act as if it was my advisor from the funeral service. And all of a sudden it wrote just an incredible eulogy that was at an important time in my life. And I also help people write books with this. I help them write business proposals, acquisitions, mergers, business plans, help them to get their jobs, help them to redo it. So again, and like I said, we have to tell it with reinforced learning, don't do this, ChatGPT. I want you to do it this way. So again, and as I start to close out this section, you can now have your assistants, because now with the ChatGPT, baby ChatGPT, the autonomous, we're going to show you, if you become part of our community, we're going to show you how you can actually train your agents. So imagine having an army of agents that are able to go out there for you and do exactly what you want. So when you power and deploy your own agents working for you, you're going to be able to have them as if sitting in the office. And you can have them for a grand total of $20 a month, because there's two versions of ChatGPT. There's the free version, where anybody can sign up with their email and their name. And then if you want the plus version, it's $20. And people say, what's the advantage of the plus version? Well, it's kind of like going to Disneyland or Six Flags over Texas, and you're standing in line with the kids and your grandkids, and it just takes an hour to get to each ride. But you look to your left, and there's people that are going fast track right up to the beginning of the line. Yeah, because they bought the special pass. So your special pass with the ChatGPT, instead of getting bogged down, because thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people, now that they've gone global, are all trying to get into the same system. But when you're on the plus system, you have a fast pass to the inside track. But you also get the new enhancements, you get the new advancements, you get a much greater return. It's a much deeper thought process, and it's infinitely faster. So again, I tell people, look, give up a round of golf, but pay that $20 a month, because you can shape your entire future for your legacy and your children's legacy by being on the Chat Plus. And you can create your own robots, because when you create your own robots, you can have them, you got the ChatGPT on the left, but on the right, you can have your robots like Lucy, Trevor, Sasko, Jorge, Karen, Tony. And these are the robots that are going to be working for you. Can help to open up your email clicks, can help to open the follow through. It can help you with, this one is called Karen. This is, Ernesto has this one, Karen. Some people say, well, that's a Karen, usually a complainer or something like that. He uses this one when he has to write complaint letters. And all of a sudden, Karen keeps a history of all of the things. But then when he's got somebody else out there, it might be Lucas, it's when he's starting to go in as an author and he's trying to write stuff. Or it might be Tony Robbins when he's trying to go in there and write stuff when it comes to seminar speaking. So you can actually have it where I know I worked an incredible business deal with an individual. And I wanted to do a merger and acquisition and affiliate relationship with this big company. And I was struggling. I was writing the emails. And then I said, well, I'm going to go into ChatGPT. And I asked the ChatGPT to ask as if they were the executive vice president of the firm I was writing the email to. And I said, please write it in the style of this particular person. And it was absolutely incredible. It was almost as if he was writing my email to himself to get the presentation or the appointment for us to talk about our alliance. And it worked. We ended up getting it like 7 days later. So again, the entire cost to have your own agents, $20 a month. So what I'd like to do right there, Chris, is if we could, is just break it and see if you have any questions or any comments that I can cover on this.
Yes, we do have one question from Evelyn Cermeño, which is a great question. And she put on here, how do we raise awareness and educate in communities that struggle with even the basics of technology? And that stems from the reality that the newer generation is coming in here and being exposed to a fast-paced evolution in technology. What would be the best way that we could actually educate those communities that are struggling?
Live workshops where we actually do interactive, hands-on, instead of doing a PowerPoint presentation like we're doing right now, Chris, where I'm giving you a set curriculum. We just go in and open up a ChatGPT. And we ask somebody to go in there. It might be as simple as writing a resume. It might be as simple as, what are the qualifications I need for this particular job? What happens with the qualifications I have? What job am I best suited for? So we can help people to go from where they are to where they'd like to be, and we could actually do it live. And the value is, just imagine, Chris, if like when Netscape or Google first came out, and how many people didn't know they could go into Google and ask for this, and all of a sudden there's all these answers. And that's how they started to use Google. That's how they started to use Facebook. That started how they used LinkedIn. Well, this is no different. But the difference is that people have this fear with ChatGPT. Well, but I'm not computer literate. You don't have to. Right now we have to type in the command, but you can also talk the command. I did a workshop for the Houston HR Association this past Wednesday and Thursday. And I actually did part of my presentation where I opened up a ChatGPT. And as I was talking, the ChatGPT was searching, because I was talking to a participant in the audience, and the answer was up on the screen. You should have seen the look on those HR directors, Chris. They were like, oh my word. You can actually talk to this and tell it what you need and say, please correct this, please add to this, please change that. We developed a lesson plan, Chris. And again, this is a room. In this room, I had about 70 people in the room, and only about 10 had started using ChatGPT. So we had almost 85% hadn't used it. But all of a sudden, I said, how many people here at training offices had to write a presentation and didn't know how to write it? Or it took you days to write it? And more than half the hands went up. I said, why don't we write a plan? And so what I did was I asked somebody, and they said, well, I'm supposed to write a plan on employee retention. I'm supposed to give it to my supervisors, and I need to do it next week. I said, okay, let's write that. And I went in and I said, act as if, and I went in, I said, I need this, I need this, I need this. I need it 30 minutes long. I need it in a PowerPoint presentation. I need it to include 12 different chapters and all of the titles of the chapters. I need you to give me all of the citations as to where the information came from. I need you to give me 10 options of titles for the talk. And I need to have it, again, in a PowerPoint presentation. And please make suggestions for royalty-free images that I can use on each slide. And I said, so we asked for it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, watch. And I hit the button, and it started printing it. And you should have seen the look on that audience, Chris. They were just like, oh my word, are you kidding me? One lady said, that would have taken me 3 weeks to create. He did it in 5 minutes. See, that's how you get the people that are afraid. That's how you get the people that aren't sure. You start them small. So if you're running a community workshop and it's people that are entrepreneurs, business owners, or just somebody that's looking for a job, gear your workshop for them. Gear your workshop for them.
And just this last question, just to kind of summarize this, would be one of the things that I've noticed for specifically using ChatGPT hands-on is that it gives you the ability specifically for small business owners to write things such as proposals, contracts, guarantees, policies. What are some of the suggestions that you would have for a small business owner that are thinking about using ChatGPT for these purposes?
Anything and everything that they need, they can have it. But what they need to do what they need to do, Chris, is they need to get into a support community. They need to get where they can, if they have a question, they have a challenge, they say, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? Well, go here. Here's all this information we've already curated. Or you join a call and get on the call and ask that particular question, because once they solve a little challenge, they're going to look for bigger challenges to solve. It's absolutely, I get so excited when I watch the glitter in somebody's eye, because they went in and they created a prompt, which is a horrible prompt, right? I mean, compared to what can be written, but it got them incredible results. So it's that growth that they start to have, but they have to have somebody they can talk to. Otherwise, they're just going to wither away on the vine. They're going to wither away on the vine. And I don't know how to do it. It's past me. I'm not that accomplished with it. Listen, I'm 72 years old and I'm a pioneer with this. And I have cities and towns and countries asking me to come speak about this. And I'm not an expert in this field at all, Chris. I'm a pioneer in this field. However, in the land of a blind, the one-eyed man is king, is what the saying goes. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. You don't have to be the master of the universe. You just have to know more about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and the resources available for you. And you can get there faster, quicker, smoother than the competition. You can make your life better. You know, somebody may be listening to this and they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and they've been downsized and capsized and upsized. And, you know, I had a lady last night, she sent me a request to give her a LinkedIn profile recommendation. And she said, the guy that she was working for, a world-renowned trainer, an incredible guy. His name is Anthony Parinello. He's wrote a book that, you know, Selling to Vito, telling salespeople how to talk to the very, very important top officer of a corporation. Well, he just lost his best friend to a bicycle accident, mountain biking. The guy was 63 years old. And now, because all of a sudden, Tony's looking at retiring now so he can enjoy the few years he's got left. So here's his assistant, 25 years with him, and she has no idea what she's going to do next. And I said, what you need to do is schedule a 30-minute call with me. Let me get you on a discovery call. Let me show you what ChatGPT can do for you. And you have avenues you can't even imagine that are available to you. And I'm going to turn her life around. So again, if somebody's timid, somebody's scared, somebody doesn't have the education, doesn't have the financial resources, that's an excuse. That's an excuse. That's not a reason not to get into the AI, because the AI can change that in a big time, in a big way, okay?
Perfect. And I think that's all the questions that we have so far.
Okay, so how would you like to learn how to use machine learning and deploy the army of productivity agents? Listen to Vishen real quick. This is the guy that bought the company Silver Mind Control, educational company. And I love when we meet with Vishen, because listen to what he found out when he saw what ChatGPT was doing back in January.
What I'm about to share is going to shock and surprise you. Are you ready for one of the biggest shakeups in human history? ChatGPT, the AI model that's about to turn a lot of what we know about life and work on its head. So I recently sent this message to my marketing department. I said, if any of you are not using ChatGPT, you are already obsolete in the workplace. And if you are using ChatGPT, you probably will now be able to cut 1 to 2 hours a day off your workload. That message was sent because the more I dive into ChatGPT, the more shocked and surprised I am by just what is possible. But be warned, ChatGPT is going to disrupt entire industries. The robots are coming, and they're faster and better than we ever imagined. Are you ready to compete? And don't think you can hide from ChatGPT. It's the future of work, and those who embrace it are going to thrive. Those who don't are going to be left behind. Now let's go on to education. A centuries-old education model is about to be completely turned on its head. It's time to say goodbye to outdated methods and say hello to personalized learning and AI-powered assessments. ChatGPT has already passed exams to get into elite MBA programs and law school. And this means a student armed with ChatGPT could basically write college entrance essays in seconds. I read that some educators are looking at how to figure out tools that can detect AI-based writing, but this is useless. You're not going to be able to. Remember the calculator? When the calculator was released, we thought it was going to disrupt education. Education adapted. Education is going to have to adapt to ChatGPT too. It's time for educators to step up and embrace technology. Those who do will be leading a new change in education. And for those clinging to traditional methods, it's time to face the facts. The old ways are gone, and you're going to have to adapt or be left behind. Have you heard of the philosopher Tim Urban? He wrote this amazing thesis about the idea of the human colossus. Let me explain. ChatGPT is the embodiment of philosopher Tim Urban's concept of the human colossus. The human colossus is a term that refers to the collective intelligence and problem-solving ability of human beings. Tim shows this diagram on his blog. It describes a vast network of individuals who, through their unique perspectives, experiences, and knowledge, can come together to tackle the world's biggest problems and create solutions that a single person could never achieve on their own. And this is exactly what ChatGPT is doing. By harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is helping us create.
So, as the essence of time, I'm going to stop it there. But it's absolutely incredible. Does that give you an idea? Let's go back to the children for a second. Chris, are you still with me?
I'm here.
Okay. So, how many people right now? And we're in a disruptive world, and it's a woke society, and people are very, very concerned about their children's education, the quality of the education. You know, the Chicago School District, third largest school district in the United States, they have about 10% of their students are graduating at grade level, about 10%. 90% of the kids are being left behind. During COVID, the kids actually dropped their scores by a year and a half. Now, with ChatGPT, a child, a parent, whether they're in rural Arkansas, Oregon, the big city of Houston, big city of New York, wherever they are, within the next 3 to 5 years, I honestly think, and a lot of other people think, that half the teachers that are teaching will not be teachers 5 years from now. And the reason is that they're already creating chatbots where a parent can go in, assess where their child is in the educational process. They're going to be able to get the curriculum they need in the safety of their home or their office or a community school, where they could have other parents that think and act just like they do because of their cultural, their ethnic, their economic backgrounds, whatever it is. We're now going to be able to cater directly to what the parents want and what the student needs. And we're going to be able to do it at a fraction of the cost. That's already working. It's already happening. And the other alternative, I mean, I'm not going to get political, but we get on and we watch the news and we read the articles and we see that sometimes they're teaching kids to change their gender and they're prohibiting the kid from talking to the parents about it. People don't want that anymore. We're in for a disruptive world, and now everybody's going to be able to build their family, their lifestyle, their economy, their beliefs within the system, because now the great equalizer is we're all going to have access to all this information. So I'm not going to go through, I'm going to just go through this very quickly. I did this thing for the Texas Municipal League, but you can see I went in and I wrote the Department for the Human Resource. I went in how they could use it for the fire department, how they could use it for the police department, how they could use it for public works, how they could use it for solid waste. Anybody says, well, solid waste, I mean, those people are out on the road. They are, but there's still an internal department as well. There's still policies and procedures, and like in the health department, appointment scheduling, automating process, health queries, health education, data analysis, and it goes on the emergency management. We got hurricanes coming in. The people in Harris County and the city of Houston, the city of Sugar Land, they're in the office 4 days before the storm even passes through Cuba. And this is where we're going, is that no matter who your company is, this is where you need to be. And when I say we can go in and we can write them, we can go in there and do retention training projects like I did here, provide me 10 titles, 200-word blurb. We could go in here, write a basic description and how we built it out. This is the one I talked about earlier. We talked about the direct cost, the indirect cost. We talked about calculating the employee turnover rate. We went in and talked about the factors that influence it, the onboarding, the training, the flexibility. And I wrote this entire program for them in less than 15 minutes. They were shocked. So anyways, what I want to do is offer to you folks here, Chris, there's a couple things, is we have the AI Whispers Fast Track community, Ernesto and I, and it's just absolutely incredible, the growth that people have. And for the people that are hanging in here, I'm going to show you how you can go in and you can contact me. You can book a discovery call. But if you'd like to be in that little slot right there, it says where you belong, and you want to learn how to have a community around you, an AI Whispers Fast Track with people that are accomplished, people that know where they're going, we're going to show you that. But the other thing I want to show you is that I also developed a program called Grow and Protect. And this is also available to everybody that's on the call and all of your other members, Chris, that'll be watching this on a replay, is that what we have here is we actually have, this here is the one I built for the United States Mexico Chamber of Commerce, and we're building the one out for the Greater North Texas Chamber. But what you can do is when you go in here, you're going to be able to access the ultimate learning management system to grow and protect your business. And so I want you to just watch this quick little video. It's only about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, but it's going to show you exactly what you can get if you choose to for $1 one time, lifetime. This is what's available to everybody on the call, listening live or in the future.
I think there might be an issue with the audio. You can't really hear it at least on my end.
Did you say something, Chris?
Yes, there may be an issue with an audio. I'm not able to hear it. I'm not too sure if that's what everybody else is experiencing. Maybe you need to share the screen.
This groundbreaking educational platform is the first of
So let me
its kind.
Let me go back.
We can hear now.
Yeah, let me go back here. Okay, I didn't optimize it. I apologize. Let me go in here. It should be.
Welcome to the Grow and Protect Learning Management System.
You hear that okay?
Yes, sir.
The ultimate educational resource to help train and empower entrepreneurs and business owners with the relevant and timely information they require to grow and thrive in the digital era. This groundbreaking educational platform is the first of its kind, and as your Chamber of Commerce, we are proud to bring it to you as another of your Chamber member benefits. Inside this learning management system, you'll find hundreds of relevant courses and mini lessons designed to help any business transition from the information age into the digital age. Discover how to protect your business from cyber attacks, how to sell your products using YouTube, how to attract more clients using LinkedIn, and how to become a key person of influence using Google to position yourself as an industry leader, and much more. Please explore this page to discover more about this one-of-a-kind educational resource brought to you by your Chamber of Commerce. Non-members of our Chamber can access this digital library for $297. For you as a member, using the promo code listed on this page, you will be able to access this resource for a one-time payment of only $1. Now, you may be wondering, why do we charge $1? Why not just make it available for free to all the members? Our learning management system is mobile-based. This means it is available as a downloadable app and as a website on your desktop. For this reason, some of the features of the app require a transaction in order to work properly. Remember, the retail value of the learning management system is $297 for non-members. For you as the member, all required is $1 to make sure all the features on the app are working properly. Your transaction is safe and secured. Inside the learning management system, you will find top-notch, relevant information, and there is nothing for sale. And as part of this new chamber resource, you will also have access to implementation calls to help.
Okay, so Chris.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
My wife just texted me and said that you couldn't see the video. Is that correct?
No, I wasn't able to see. I thought maybe we're just playing the audio.
No,
I'm sorry about that.
No, there's a video. Folks, I apologize. I will send you the link to it. But
we'll link it down at the on our social media as well.
The Grow and Protect guys is absolute incredible library that you can actually go in and you can resource how to master LinkedIn, how to master YouTube, how to master pocket filmmaking. I built a YouTube channel. I've got 280 some odd videos that I created. And I did it the hard way. I had to write the scripts. I had to write the context. I had to move the images. Now with the artificial intelligence, what normally would have taken me 4 years ago, 20, 30 hours to write a 4-minute script, I can write the script in about 5 minutes. And then I can take that script and I can put it into another software and it will develop the actual, the video with all of the pictures and everything and take the voice in there. And if I don't want to use the voice because maybe I'm aware of my accent or I'm uncomfortable, I can actually use a pre-trained voice. I don't even have to use my own voice. And that's what we teach people in the Grow and Protect. That's what we teach people in the community. And so for those of the people that want more information, those that say, hey, I need to know more about how this community thing works. I need to know how I can tap into these 275 to 300 videos that we have. I want to know how I can tap into other chambers around the world. We have chambers from Sri Lanka, chambers from London, chambers from India, and the greatest majority are all across the United States, from California to Maine, from Florida to Alaska. We have chambers of people like you that you can network with once a month on our live calls. But you can also call in and get your questions answered when you want to know about Google, you want to know about artificial intelligence, you want to know about pocket filmmaking, you want to know about, as that question you had, Chris, this is where I'm at, and I'm very nervous, and I don't have funds, and I don't have this. How do I do it? We're going to show you how to do it, but you have to belong to a community. You have to have a learning management library, and everything I'm talking to you about right now costs you $1. One time, lifetime. You can go, if you want to go in there now, you can go to growandprotect.app/US Mexico. You could see it up here in the top. And we're going to have the site set up next week. We'll have it set up for the North Texas. It'll actually be growandprotect.app/ and then we'll put up either the initials for Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, or we'll put whatever Gilberto calls me on and asks me what he needs, and we'll get that published next week. But for those that want to go in now, you can go in, you can click on the video, and you can say, okay, I want to get it, and it's going to ask you to put in the member code. You put member 21, and it'll take the price from $297 to $1. Or here's the easier way. I want you to, and you can take a picture of this with your phone. You can just go into speaktofrank.com. This is your solution. This is your lifeline. Whether you listen to this live or this is a replay, just go to speaktofrank.com. When you go there, you're going to be able to go into my calendar, And in there, you're going to be able to book a meeting with me. And in that meeting, I will be happy to share with you exactly how you can grow your business. You'll set up a 15-minute discovery call. And in that discovery call, we'll be able to share with you exactly how to grow your business. And you will have, let me pull this up again. I don't know why we lost that slide, but you should be able to see it. See, it says speaktofrank.com. Is that the slide that's up there, Chris?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So if you go in there and you speaktofrank.com, you're going to be able to book a one-on-one session with me. I do ask you to, if I opened up some slots for tomorrow for people that want to chat to me tomorrow and Monday, but I do have to tell you that Tuesday through Saturday of this week, my wife and I are going to be taking a few days off. We're going down to Puerto Vallarta. And so we got an early flight on Tuesday morning. So if you go in there and you see that you can book an appointment for Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, I'm probably going to call you and ask you to please reschedule it because I haven't taken those slots off of my calendar yet. But you can book either tomorrow, or you can book Monday, or you can book next week. And I would be happy to schedule a free 30-minute complimentary talk with any of your members. And that, Chris, goes also for the people that'll be watching this on replay, that they will be able to book their 30-minute call. There's absolutely no cost. And at the end, if you say, hey, I want to join the community, we will put you in the community for 45 days as our guest. As 45 days as a member of the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It's our gift to you for being on the webinar. If you have other chamber members and you want me to go in and watch the replay, the same thing goes for them. But I would urge everybody, Chris, to get in before the 1st of August, because what we're covering in the month of August, Ernesto and I, is the magic formula, how to write an entire book within the next 30 days. With all of the prompts, all of the commands. It's not available anyplace else than what Ernesto and I have put together. And it's our gift to welcome the Greater North Texas Hispanic Chamber into the Grow and Protect and the AI Whispers method teaching modules that we have. So Chris, I'll turn it back over to you and answer any questions and close it out.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't see any more questions, but I think if you have any more questions, feel free to either send them over to Frank's way on his social media or book an appointment with him. Or if you have any questions that you want us to answer, just let us know. Thank you so much, Frank. It was a very, very informative webinar. For those of you that are going to be watching this later on, we're going to add the links at the description so you can sign up if you need any more information directly from Frank, or if you want to visit the Grow and Protect. Now, we are going to have another series next Saturday, so I encourage you all to join us next Saturday, where we'll probably go through a walkthrough on ChatGPT or other AI software. But as far as this series, this summarizes it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.